everyone, and welcome to Two Poets Reacts, where we find videos online and react to them and kind of focus on the poetry side of things. I'm Corey.
I'm Ben.
And we're stoked to hang out with you. What is up, Ben? How you doing, my friend?
What's up, man? I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm ready to react to some more videos.
Me too. This is one of my favorite things that we do.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun because we can just talk whatever and watch something we haven't seen before.
And I like watching. So
yeah, watching is good too.
As weird
but
as
I did
that
notice
sounds.
you. I did notice you looking in my windows last night, so I need you to quit watching there.
Sorry.
Yeah, that face right there
Can you
is very
prove
scary.
it was me? Like if you just look from the eyes up, is that what you saw?
Yeah, it's those beady eyes.
Dang it. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, this is we just released a episode to our podcast, to our audio version. So if you haven't listened to that, you should go check that out as well, where we talk about the Bukowski method and looked at the way Charles Bukowski wrote poetry and kind of talked about that and applied it to our lives. And then we also wrote poetry last week, didn't we, Ben?
We did, and it was pretty dang good poetry too, I thought.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've written something.
I know, that was a good challenge. It was nice to be able to like just kind of dive into someone else's writing and then get a little inspired and then write something from that. That's a really good like challenge, a routine thing that you could do.
Absolutely. Yeah, so if you're interested in that, check out our audio version, which we do videos too. Just listen to our actual podcast where we talk about all things creative and we write poetry, and our challenge this time around is we're finding poets and trying to write in their style, which is really cool, and then kind of examining their lives. So that makes it pretty awesome. But today we are here to react to other people who are better than us and then give our opinions that matter so much about that. So today I picked a spoken word poet by the name of Brandon Leake, which Ben knows. Ben knows this guy, but I didn't know anything about Brandon Leake until, well, I'd kind of heard his name thrown around, you know, and then I had completely forgotten that he was on America's Got Talent.
That is correct. I bought his book. It's called Unraveling. I think it's what it's called. I have it upstairs somewhere. I should have got it. But it's really good. And I don't know if that's his only book. He may have other books too by now, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah, that's how I first heard of him, was from his book.
Awesome. Yeah, and so my wife knew about him because she watches America's Got Talent, and then so she was hip to it before I was. And I was like, I didn't even know this, but this was during the whole like COVID time of America's Got Talent, apparently. So today we are going to watch Brandon Leake, who this was his audition, and apparently he got the golden buzzer because it was that good. And so that's why I was like, all right, we got to watch this one. I have never heard Brandon Leake or read his stuff, but apparently this is the video to watch that kind of launched his career into even bigger, because apparently he was already a pretty big deal. But now it's like even bigger at this point.
A golden buzzer worthy poem. That says a lot.
Especially if you can go on America's Got Talent and go up against all these crazy, death-defying acts and amazing singers and people doing weird stuff with their bodies, and then you go up there and just speak words, and then didn't he win? Like apparently didn't he win America's Got Talent?
I don't know if he won. I mean, you get a golden buzzer, you're kind of already,
that's true.
Personally, like you're there.
Either he won or he got really close. We'll say he won. Correct me if I'm wrong.
There you go.
He's won in our hearts for just getting a golden buzzer. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pull that up real quick. But that is what we are going to be reacting to today, and I'm pretty pumped about this. So we are going to watch. It's 4 minutes and 50 seconds of. I think this is a super clip that's been kind of edited down to get some of the talking out, but I kind of want to also hear what the judges have to say at the end, because I always like they can help us in our reacting.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how they react to that. I know I watched this a while ago, but it's been so long I don't even remember the details. So
awesome. Well, I am super stoked. So without further ado, this is Brandon Leake. I don't know what the poem is called, but I'm sure he will tell us what it is called in the audition. So this is his golden buzzer from, I don't remember what year, but it was during COVID stuff. So Which I'm sure it was probably after COVID kind of hit hard because then they started opening things back up,
Yeah.
but slowly. So maybe 2022-ish. I don't know.
Probably.
Anyways, here we go. Are you ready, Ben? Because I am ready.
Let's
Brandon
do it,
Leake.
man.
What is your name?
My name is Brandon Leake.
Hi, Brandon Leake. And where you from, Brandon?
I am from a small little city called Stockton, California.
Stockton, California. And what do you do for a living?
For a living, I work at a high school and a college, but I also run poetry workshops with youth in my city.
Well, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
I don't really understand poetry. I'm going to be honest with you.
I'm a great intro for you.
So tonight's poem, is it something you wrote?
Oh, I only perform stuff that I write, never be able to perform anything else.
And what is it? What is this one about?
So tonight's poem is actually an ode to my sister.
Are you close to your sister?
Very much. She's here with me now.
Oh, she's backstage?
Kind of.
Well, we already love you. Make us love your poem.
Beautiful. I got you for that. I have 2 facts for you. 1, I'm 6 feet tall. And 2, love is the most vulnerable thing one will ever have. And you must learn to hold on to it loosely, so when it leaves, it won't exit so painfully. On July 14th, 1996, an angel was brought to this earth. Her name, Danielle Marie Gibson, but I only know her as Puff. Her smile is as wide as the universe. Her eyes, they glimmer like the stars. She is my world and my sister. I, just 4 years old at the time, learned what it meant to love selflessly, for on days in which my strength was but knee-high, seeing her smiling face would make my soul fly. But on March 23rd, 1997, I've been ground-bound because she left Earth to go back home amongst the stars, right next to God, but I was left here to manufacture wings out of tears and broken dreams, yet I'm still haunted by these nightmares because I have a really creative mind. And sometimes it designs these alternate realities where she is still here, still alive, and all the things I wish we could have done are played again and again and again. And I'm tired of playing God because I got to come to terms with the fact that my sister ain't never coming back. And that's the cost of love. Caring for someone so much that you can't imagine living life without them. Staring at a grave like, how about I trade my 6 feet for yours, but that's not real. And I know I said earlier to hold on to love loosely, so when it leaves, it won't exit so painfully. But if this pain and these memories are all that I got left of you, I won't never regret these scars from just trying to hold on to you.
Wow.
It is a wow.
Flowers across the sea. Memories are what they used
Gosh.
to be.
You're tearing up.
My brother passed away the same year that your sister passed away.
Man,
Yeah, I can feel your pain. I know what this is. I know what it is to have somebody taken from you without you knowing. But it was very beautiful for me.
thank you.
What an amazing tribute. There's something very, very special about you.
Thank you.
Really. This is a very difficult thing for me to judge. I shouldn't be judging it. I just want to compliment you on what you just did because it was extraordinary.
Thank you so much.
Really?
So much.
Well, it's amazing to me that on season 15, it's the first time that we're hearing somebody of spoken word. There was something more raw in the way it's like singing and talking and just being a human a cappella. No music, no nothing, just a raw heart beating in front of us. We feel your pain, we feel your love, and you moved me to do this.
They speak of a better place.
The epic golden buzzer. Man, whew. That was, that was intense. Gosh. I think what got me the most is at the end when Simon was like, I should not be judging this.
Right? Yeah.
Like, this is not something you judge. This is vulnerability, and I should not be here judging this, you know?
To start off with him being like, I don't understand poetry.
Yeah.
He's probably like, crap, this is not gonna go good. But then for Simon to be the one to say it's like, yeah, I have no business judging this. All I can do is just like compliment you for how beautiful that was.
Yeah.
Like that's a good judgment on
no
poetry,
kidding.
honestly.
Yeah, and also like what Howie was saying, like 15 seasons, 15 years, or probably longer years,
Yes.
and like they've never had like a poet, you know, on there, and to have someone with that caliber and just that much passion, like you can tell just the way he was presenting that piece. My gosh, like that's why I love spoken word so much. It's just so vulnerable, and you know when it's real.
Yeah,
you know,
100%.
and
It is
Brandon
crazy
Leake.
to think. It's crazy to think that it's been that long before someone has stepped up to actually do spoken word.
Yeah.
And then the first one gets a golden buzzer. Like, what does that tell you?
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
That's insane.
Like, come on now.
That's crazy.
Ah, man, Brandon. Way to paint a picture in your spoken word. That was just very good. Another line that got me was like, if I could just trade my 6 feet for yours. I was like, oh my gosh.
Dang, it's such a little detail right at the beginning. A fact about me: I'm 6 feet tall.
Yep.
And then to like bring that detail
to
back,
throw
around,
that in back
like,
around. I know.
Yeah, man, that's so good. Yeah, that's my favorite. I think that's my favorite line of that whole.
Yeah, because he's also like, I'm 6 feet tall, and then love. And like love is being to be able to be like, I want to trade this for your, you know, it's just the way he just like ties all that together, man.
So good, so good. I do wonder. Like, I think it's always awkward when it's a COVID situation because there's no people there. But I'm like, I wonder if that really helped him in that performance because it's such a more intimate setting. And he already knows, okay, one person has said they don't understand poetry. And
now I just have 2 I have to convince.
1 out of 3. Yeah. So now I've really got to move this, like make this work. And I wonder how that would have come across if there would have been 1,000 people there watching, you know? I wonder if it would have been the same. But I think it was like he stepped
meant
into
to be,
a moment and he like nailed it. That's fantastic.
Yeah, because literally, like they have no choice but to focus on the stage. I mean, they're supposed to focus on the stage; they're judges. But when you have all this auxiliary stuff going on, and you got crowds to control and everything else, and it's like, no, we just have people on stage because no one else can be here, you know, and like so we like to talk a lot about the way someone's cadence is, the way you present your spoken word. You know, are you embellishing too much, or are you keeping it a natural pace? You know, because I mean that's where your creativity comes in with spoken word, is how you present. Because just standing and reading, that's not really spoken word. You're just reading poetry, you know. But when you're presenting in a way, and the way he did, his smile, super freaking infectious. Yeah, you know, when he talks, it's like, man, he's smiling like, like. I want to hang out with this guy. Yeah. You know, but then to just hit so deep at the same time, it's like, man, you're making me cry, but I love you.
Yeah, for sure. He's got that, the smile is the first thing you notice. Yeah. He's got that kind of Rudy Francisco energy, you know. Mm-hmm. But the other thing that I love about this is just the most important thing is just you sharing your heart, just you sharing what's vulnerable for you, because you have no idea who that could affect. And the fact that Sophia is like, my brother passed away this same year. Yeah. So I know what you're feeling. Like, there's a connection made there that you didn't even foresee. And like,
you didn't even know. Yeah.
Yeah. You had no idea. And so that's one more reason for you to do it. Like, that's one more reason for you to step out and do those things, because you have no idea who they will impact. You have no idea the connection you can have. And some of the healing you can bring people through your art. It's just, that's a powerful testimony to how like true and real poetry is, and how relevant it is, and how it affects people. and unifies them.
Yeah. And I think like poetry has always gotten such a bad rap with popular culture,
Yeah.
And it being very uncool, and very hippie, I mean, there's a lot of things people compare it to that make it sound uncool, but it's like it's the most vulnerable thing, man. And if you want to call being vulnerable being weak, it's like no, it's like the strongest thing you can do, is to be vulnerable. And like one of the biggest things that I completely believe in as an artist is like don't create something for people, create it for yourself and let that be what attaches to people. Like the way he connected with Sophia there in this piece is he created that piece to tell his story. He could have easily, wrote something that would appeal to people to bring them in as fans. Like, no, I'm gonna write something true, something that I know. And then of course that's what connected, with Sophia, and that's what's gonna connect with so many other people is whenever you write something for you, don't write for other people to think, oh, I think people will like this, so I'm gonna write it. No, screw that. Like, write what you feel, what's in your heart, write it for yourself and then put that out into the world.
Yeah, man, that's a trap you can fall into. I want to create something that I know people will buy, or I want to do something that I know people will be moved by, or that I hope they'll be moved by.
Yeah.
And sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. And the only thing that you can really do to genuinely have an impact is just be yourself. Like, do it for you, like you said. Do it for you. Take those innermost pieces of yourself and like put them together, hand them to someone, break them right in front of them, and then together you both assemble those pieces back emotionally. It's like you're bringing them on a journey with you. That's the stuff that really impacts people the most, for sure.
Yeah. And like think about it too, like so like we do spoken word, we do poetry. Like if you went to audition for America's Got Talent, like you literally have so much like, okay, what am I gonna bring to the stage, right? It's like, well, he had this question like, do I do something that's going to appeal to a lot of people and try to like do some big, I don't know, whatever piece, or do I be vulnerable?
Yeah.
Always go with vulnerable.
Well, and he's like, I want to do this as a tribute to my sister.
Yeah.
That's what a beautiful way to pay tribute.
Yeah, and I love how he's like very specific in his writing too. Like he does use, creative ways to describe stuff. But he's also very specific in his wording and very specific with times and dates and things like that, to where some people can be very embellishing on words that mean other things, but he's like, no, be more specific. And I love that with spoken word artists as well, when they can be very specific in their wording and not be too embellishing with too thesaurus-y, which it has its place. It has its place. Obviously, sometimes you don't want to use just plain words, you want to use other words, but it's finding that balance. And I think his groove, his balance is like perfect.
There's no like word play for the sake of that.
Exactly.
It's all relevant, it all hits, it's all very meaningful, it's intentional. It's and in that there's no cringe like you usually find in a lot of spoken word poetry. Because it's just real emotion, it's real, and it's like truth, and that's what really makes it work really well. That's why three people who are not used to poetry can sit there and be affected by it. Because he's not trying to put on a show in the sense of like, I'm such a good writer. He's not like trying to like weave little poetic words and play that rhyme game, like he's just like, hey, this is a tribute. And then by the end of it they're like stunned and in tears, so
jeez.
So good.
Gosh, he was so good. So if you've never heard of Brandon Leake, like I hadn't, go check out Brandon Leake. I believe he's still, he was on like the Ellen show and a bunch of other stuff, ever since he won this or got far in it. and I'm sure he's still going strong. I'm gonna keep looking up more of his stuff. So all of you watching, go check out Brandon Leake. I did notice there's a lot of videos of him doing spoken word on YouTube. So there's plenty to sift through, and you have his book, and so I need to go buy that book now as well.
Yeah, you should. I need to revisit it. I've got a stack of poetry books up there, and I need to pull that one back out because it's been a minute. I've probably had it for a couple years now, so
yeah,
it's been a minute since I read through that.
Sweet. Do you have any parting words for us, Ben?
Oh man, parting words of wisdom. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable in your art.
Yeah.
Pull those pieces out and hand them to people and like guide them in assembling back together with you. Like let that be your thing. Let that be what you do. Help people find closure or open things, not close things. Just bust them open.
Nice.
Yeah.
The famous wise words of
Just
Ben
keep going.
Burley.
Pick the torch
20
down,
minutes later,
their hearts.
I don't know.
Strings,
He got on Windows now, and he's talking
light
about
those
Windows
matches,
and
set fire to the soul.
Awesome. Well, as always, everyone, thank you so much for hanging out with us as we react to this video. We'll be back with more reaction videos. Go check out our podcast, Two Poets Podcast.
I do have a quick question.
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
Do we want to let people know who our next poet is that we're doing?
Oh, our next. For the podcast episode. Yeah, so like I said, we've been doing, writing in the style of different poets. So on our next episode, which will come out a week from today, I don't know what time. It'll be sometime after this video. My days get confused because I have to think in the future, not now when we're recording, that whole thing. So yeah, Ben, tell them who our next poet is that we are going to write in the style of.
We are stealing / emulating the famous poet Pablo Neruda.
Pablo Neruda.
Who will be our next challenge, our next writing challenge. So
yes. So if you are a fan of Pablo Neruda or you absolutely hate Pablo, come check out our next episode, which will be episode 20 of our Two Poets podcast, where we will be digging into the life of Pablo and also writing in the style and coming up with a poem each that we will read on the episode. Yay. It's a lot of fun. So I think you will enjoy it if you're into poetry, spoken word, all that good stuff. But yes, thank you for checking out our video. Please leave us a comment if you liked any of this, or if you want to correct us on some things, leave us a comment as well. And don't forget to rate us on all those wonderful sites like Apple, Spotify, and all that fun stuff. And always, I am Corey.
I'm Ben.
And we'll see you next time.
Peace.